it is Marvel Contest of Champions news time. It is the 19th of June 2018. Hopefully you're having a lovely day, whatever you're doing, whether or not you're playing in the game, whether or not you're doing something else rather than game-orientated stuff, because hey, it is a grind. So yeah, hopefully you're having a great day. But we've got news to cover, Alliance Wars related stuff, we've got new arenas coming in. It's not all positive within the game at the moment, and it largely can be attributed to Kabam's failures, let's say, but there are some things obviously it's important to cover for the community. Oh, first, before I go anywhere, just to say special thanks to Kirby B for the donation. Whatever reason, last stream that I did, which I usually stream about 10 PM in the UK most evenings, so do catch a live stream, but thank you very much for the donation. It didn't ping up, I'm very sorry, but I thought if you see the news, then to say thank you. But anyway, let's jump into the Marvel Contest of Champions news. Our first story up is kind of reporting on something that has been around for a little while, and that is Domino breaking blocks. So if you're doing a lot of the merc missions and stuff with that, you'll be noticing, hey, from sometimes, why are my blocks being broken? And this is largely to do with Domino being a real frustrating thing. Especially when it comes to Alliance Wars, this particular story is focused on that. So it is disappointing when these highly competitive areas of content have little bits of bugs that break blocks. Incredibly frustrating. Kabam Zibit does respond to this and says that he is aware and the game developers are aware that there is an issue with Domino, and hopefully they can give an update fairly soon. Hopefully it is as soon as possible, because yeah, people are doing highly competitive areas of the game, and if they're getting block broken, especially when it comes to Alliance Wars, then theoretically you're going to be absolutely wiped out of that game. If it's a case that you get at least one hit, maybe then starts like a chain and you're not able to kind of like get your blocks off at the same time. If you then time things out, either way, you can probably get the gist of what I'm coming to, is that will cost players quite a bit if that character isn't fixed, because she seems to be a little bit of a go-to champion to put in Alliance Wars defense. Next up is beta problems. Obviously the beta program is running currently at the moment. I have this option to be a participant myself. Have I had time to test out any of the stuff with dexterity and mystic dispersion? No, but I've been given the gist of it by other players of what's basically been changed, but I will find a point in time to get in there to have a look. But players are experiencing problems accessing the actual beta test itself, which is incredibly frustrating. If Kabam are putting these things in place, you'd think that they would run smoothly. From my perspective, I got an early access to dungeons last month, and for whatever reason, when I tried to access that beta aspect, whether or not Kabam are working it at that time, I was unable to do so. I was meant to do that with Havoc, similar to Dave and Brian that got in and did a dungeons review. I was going to be doing the same with Havoc, and for whatever reason, it didn't pay off because we tried to get in there and it just didn't work, which, you know, is something that is shared between myself and other players at the moment trying to access this beta. And you know, I don't know like how Kabam do their beta systems, but I don't know if it's working for some aspects in some countries in the world and not for others. Is this more of like a South America, the Americans, North America and Canada that are able to get in? Don't know. It's quite interesting to find out where people are able to get in and where they're not able to get in from whatever countries they are from. Kabam Lyra gives some instructions of how to kind of get in there and kind of avoid certain subjects, so it kind of helps to get into that particular game. I've not found this to work in the past. I don't know if other people will be successful in this. Kabam Mike has said to log out of the game center as well as the Google Play Store in order to then get into the beta. I've tried this before when I did the Dungeons beta and it didn't work. Again, I don't know if other players are having more fortune with this, but I don't know if it's separated out, like some countries are able to do this and other countries aren't, because I've done this process myself that Kabam Mike is saying, and I've had no success. And it continues on that other players are saying that they're experiencing issues with accessing the beta, and I think Kabam really need to understand like how this beta testing works for the point of people accessing it. Is it country specific that can actually get in? Are there certain criteria that even when you've done the change of the login, you've logged out of the Play Store and the Game Center and you're not able to get in, what is the other alternative to getting in? Is there some other way that they could just, is there a separate game that they could like down? I don't know what the solution, I'm not an expert on this. I think Kabam really need to think about how they do beta testing in future. For a lot of players this has worked and for some it has not, so yeah, it does need to be sorted. And now on to probably one of the biggest stories we've got to cover, and that is indeed Alliance Wars. There's a lot of specifics with this. So I'm not going to bore you with too many details, because the details are in the making of this being different camps of opinions on this. So a lot of people will have the opinion that what you're going to see and what you're going to hear is all about manipulation and is all about cheating. From the other aspect, from maybe a top alliance perspective, what they are doing is not effective, in fact changing the rules of the game to fit their needs, but they may feel strongly that what they are doing is fine and in keeping with the scheme of the games. And these are the two argument points. I myself, I'm not going to get into the opinion matter of this one from my own personal perspective, but I will be talking about different thought process behind each particular argument point. This has currently become such a big deal at the top flight. I'm talking like the top rated alliances that do alliance wars, that is outing certain practices, the placement of 2-star champions, which I thought was a thing back a while ago, but in fact is a thing that's prominent now. And how this works is along the schemes of like a gentlemanly agreement, and when these certain alliances then meet, they then communicate with one another and then focus on putting in, like I said, the 2 stars, and then you'll see things with regards to it being played out on like diversity, and the points theoretically are kind of like without any kind of effort that people are getting a good amount of points back, and it's really affecting the honesty and the honest playing of alliance wars. So yeah, it's a very tricky thing, as well as a very can be seen at top flight as being something that they feel is in keeping with the strategy and tactics of the game in one hand, and obviously the other argument point is this is really detrimental to a disappointing aspect to the honesty of Alliance Wars seasons. The main thing that's come out from this is that punishment will be delivered out to those. It's been on Kabam's radar. So this hasn't gone down well with a lot of alliances that may be thinking that their chips are up, their days are numbered for this, and as a result they will see that their rating is going to be dropped down, because that's exactly what happens if you have a rating and you then do something which again, they may be arguing that point and saying, hey, we are not breaking that aspect of the TOC, as well as being playing unfair. And then the other side of things, people may say, hey, well, they're definitely not breaking the law, but they're kind of breaking the fairness aspect, which Kabam do note they're looking at the fairness aspect to Alliance War Seasons, and they're changing it. And you know, Alliance War Seasons is a great addition to the game, but at the same time, it's not been as fluid to put in. I think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done with it. And that's the thing. It's all about working with players on stuff and getting their opinion, because effectively, if they ask the questions to players that do really competitive Alliance Wars seasons, then they'll be able to give you this aspect. And maybe if Kabam have been doing that, are they going to the top alliances to get that opinion? Which obviously Joe Public or the 99% don't get the ideas of what's been done by the 1%, because maybe they don't reflect that. I don't know, that maybe that's just me conspiracy theorying and spitballing my own thought process there, but either way, it doesn't seem like it's an absolutely fluid thing, because essentially you could put a block on it and saying, instead of applying different ratings, different champions you can put in. So basically, if you're 1000 rated, the most that you can put in is a 3-star if you do as a defender. And then the same thing, if you reach up to 1,500 to 2,000, you're able to put in 4 stars, and then 2,000 above 5 stars, and then a certain rating above 6 stars. Again, I'm not saying that is the thing that should solve everything, but it's one of these things where it would help out matters when it comes to this 2-star placement diversity rubbish and non-competitive play that we are seeing in this particular situation. Now, it's not just me with an opinion on the matter. I did say I wouldn't put an opinion, and I did put an opinion, but I felt that it was more of an opinion to make positive change, rather than kind of like a generalization on whether or not I think this is a good thing, or whether or not I think this is a bad thing in the scheme of the fairness. But I guess this is the point where it throws over to you, the community, and what are your thoughts on this? People have in this particular post have a thought process, whether or not it's for or whether or not it's against the situation. Is this an aspect of the game that in the whole scheme of things, fairness, unfairness, these are your times to kind of like voice your opinion. I would say do this on the forum rather than the comment section, because you can really kind of help out the debate on the subject. Kabam, I think, will really want to hear what people are going to say on the matter, because it does affect players. It will affect them as a developer. Yeah, it's going to pee off a lot of the top rated alliances, and it's also going to piss off a lot of other players in the game based on these particular instances of unfairness, or what is to be construed as unfairness in half and the people that are in the top alliances. So thoughts in the forum posts, please. Didn't think we'd get through that Alliance Wars section, but that was a huge story, lots of views, lots of comments on that, so we had to cover it. And moving on to Alliance Wars. Yeah, another story. This one came through to me through my richthemanofficial@outlook.com email. And I'd probably say now that it's probably important to kind of open that email address for submissions of stories. So if you would want to submit a story, and I'm very particular about what stories that I use, ones that if you can show a lot of evidence with it, then I'm more than likely going to show it on MCC News as well. It has to have a forum post in order to kind of, you know, launch it as a complaint, because then it opens it up for other people to kind of either say, well, I think that you might be right or wrong on this one, and I largely come to that once that has been checked by a lot of people first. Either way, thank you for people for submitting this, and obviously this story I want to talk about in particular. This really affects certain alliances when it comes to getting more points for their Alliance Wars seasons, and in particular when alliances are waiting too long to matchmake. This particular story is one of that instance, and I'm very disappointed in Kabam for kind of not addressing how the matchmaker works. This alliance was waiting for hours and hours to get a match, especially when it comes to several days in a row. If you're finding it difficult to get a match in the game, it means the less points you are theoretically making. In Alliance Wars season, it's very dependent on getting as many points as possible to then chart up and get yourself from like one bracket, boom, into the other bracket. But you can only do that by being in an Alliance War. And the disappointing side of things is this particular alliance has been lacking getting those Alliance Wars, which obviously is going to affect where they're going to chart and where they're going to finish when it comes to the Season 2 end. Greg's alliance has done the best they can to find certain time points in order to start matchmaking. At the same time, they've gone to Kabam and said, you know, what can we do? This is really affecting us with regards to more points that we can earn. And I think, and I'm pretty certain that the answer was, we don't know. I don't know if it's like we don't care, but I think it's like a case of like the kind of we don't know how to sort the problem out. This is obviously a lot of problem. This is very problematic when you're trying to rely yourself on some sort of algorithm or some kind of search algorithm in order to find another match. I really hope this alliance get this thing sorted, but it is disappointing to see that Kabam haven't thoroughly answered this and thoroughly said that, hey, you know, this could be an issue based on the fact that we're finding it difficult to matchmake you against another alliance based on X reasons, or even report back to them that maybe a problem. So yeah, very disappointed with Kabam on this, especially when it comes to the Alliance Wars season and being so dependent on points and the Alliance Wars system for matchmaking. So yeah, feel for you, Greg, but this is something that needs to change. Next up, the opinions are back early when it comes to feedback on the beta testing. Granted, there is the beta forum, the feedback forum that is, and players have kind of like found out a few more details about this and have decided to kind of like post their own thought processes. There's a lot of people for the yes, okay, fine with the changes. There are a lot of people as well that are kind of very, you know, dismissive of the changes when it comes to characters, especially like Dormammu, and it comes strongly with defender placement. This can be a real issue that people have, but at the same time people will be excited for new changes in the game and how they work around these new characters with regards to operation of dexterity as well as the mystic dispersion. If you want more details about this, then we'll cover this in the future, but yeah, for the time being, very mixed thoughts. Go to this forum post and give it a good read, because there's a lot of aspects to this. A lot of people talking about different positive things about the change, negative things about the change, so you can get a real opinion of what's going on. Next up, the results are in when it comes to Arena. And there's no surprise there. I thought I said last MCC News that Cable could go for anything between about around about the 25 mil mark. I think I got that right. Probably didn't, but you know, blag it, you know. Yeah, Cable went for a good amount, forced out 5 mil. And then we've got Taskmaster that went a lot less than what I thought. I think I was like about a mil off when I originally posted MC News, and then we talked on stream for the last few days, well actually for a good 5 days, where we talked about the idea that he could drop for anything around about 2.5 mil, and turns out he dropped for a lot less at 2.3 mil, which is surprising, but you know, it's the basic. At the end of the day, anything can happen with that. And then finally, we've got Deadpool, which, well, obviously went for stupid. I still can't decide whether I'm going to do a grind for Deadpool. If not, it's going to have to be very last minute when I get an opportunity to do that. But I've got plans. Life plans. Always comes in a way. Oh, and predictions for these. Deadpool, don't know. Probably going to go for the same. Expect that to drop maybe a little bit in the last coming times. Maybe that's going to drop to about 90 mil at some point, but I can't see it going. You're looking at 20.8 mil to be safe, even 21 mil to be safe at this rate. It's just ridiculous. And then the 4-star cable, suspect that will go for around about the same as it did in the midweek, and the same thing with the 5-star Deadpool. And then finally with Taskmaster, yeah, maybe close to about the 2 million mark in that case, or maybe people are going to be shocked at how low he went, and maybe put something in about 2.4, 2.5 mil. But again, merely speculation by myself. And our final story is all about the next arena. So we go one from arena to another arena, and Deadpool, yeah, standard Deadpool. I think he's going to go for again about 21 mil to be safe. 20.8, 20.9 is usually a good bet for him. In any case, when it comes to Massacre, I don't know with this guy. I'm just about to use him and kind of like see how good he is for the content contributor program. I don't know whether or not he's going to be kicking out anything. Kabam have given us him, so I don't know if it's because they want to put that extra hype to him. So does that mean that he's going to go for anything around about 38 mil, 35, 38 mil as a 5-star, 4-star? I don't think he's going to be as popular and could go for anything about like 12.6 to 13 mil. I don't know really. The problem is if we do this and he works out quite good as a 4-star when we do the practice, then we overhype him for no reason, and that's me being brutally honest, guys. So that kind of like puts up any kind of desire to get him based on what we showcase. Anyway, whatever. Next thing is Captain America, the standard one. Yeah, I think 1.5 mil may be enough to get him, but if you're grinding out for just to kind of like add him to the roster, 1.6 or 1.7 mil. I can't imagine this guy going anything more than 1.8 personally. That's been Marvel Contest of Champions news. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for Marvel Contest of Champions based content. I'm looking at the raw footage now. It's chalking up about 31 minutes. So hopefully this wasn't too long of an MC news, and all the points were kind of like delivered well enough. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to catch a live stream 2200 hours GMT time, 10 PM in the UK, usually when I live stream most evenings. So most evenings like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So maybe about 6 days a week I am now live streaming. So make sure you're there. It would be nice to see you. And yeah, catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.